Alright y'all, it's Rad Rainy back. I'm going to show y'all what I figured out. I got back here sifting through this pile of rust floorboard I've got that I cut out, and found this piece with the seat riser, a small piece of it on the corner here. And judging by this mountain hole here, checked it against the car, and the seat riser, when you push it all the way back in the car and close up that gap, is where it's supposed to be. There is a slight turn up right here in it, but what I'm going to try to do there is just have a gradual turn up as it comes from the center. Try to have it flat in here on the tunnel, and then just have a slight turn up as it comes over to this side, toward the side of the car. Let me show y'all what I got. I got the seat riser in, got it welded, you know, the cap's welded on, and where I put it in, I just pushed it back where it's supposed to go, according to the piece out there that we just looked at. And it's going to be up just a little bit here, but that ain't a big deal. I'll just, like I say, I'll just come from here. I'll have a gradual little bend right here on this side and on the other side. And also took the jack and put it under the center part of it, and, you know, got it level. Well, actually it's a little high, but time I weld it across there and then let the pressure off the jack, it should be just about right. And anyway, I got to checking my doors out, the gap, because after I get this welded in, then I got to put the back floorboard in. I got to make sure all this stuff is correct. These rockers, I noticed that the floor pans, this rocker here was out maybe a quarter of an inch this way, and that one was in a quarter of an inch. So I just took these screws out up here and just moved it over a little bit, got that straight. And another thing I was noticing was that these pieces here that turn down and weld to this, of course I've got to make some new pieces there, but there's a mountain hole right up under here that goes through this to hold this jam in place. And I noticed that they were scraping on this without the rear floor pan being up under it. So I got to checking my doors and noticed that I had just a little bit of sag in the car, yeah, right up here along the jam area. So that's where this contraption here came in. I built this, and I tack welded these little screw jacks, one on this side and one on the other side, to the fixture here. And by doing that, I was able to, you know, I'm able to adjust it up and down and get the door gaps right, get all this stuff here right. You know, so whenever I put the floor pans and all in and weld that seat riser in, I'm not welding the sag into it. But anyway, I guess what I'll do next is weld that seat riser in, because that's where it's going to go, right there. And I'm not quite sure. I said earlier I was going to cut these angles off. I think I'm just going to leave them in there, not weld it to the seat riser right here, but just leave it in there. I can always, whenever I cut this out, I can cut that out later. And I'll put these rear floor pans in, I'll get all this stuff here welded to it, and then whenever I take cut this part here out, quarter patch, to replace it, then I'll come in here and I'll build all this out, fix this like it needs to be. course, after I get the floor pans in, get everything welded, I'll go ahead and do these jambs here. I'll go ahead and build the bottom of that and put it over here and weld it and put a bolt in it to bolt it down to hold it in place to make sure it's in the right place. But anyway, I can leave this this 2x4 structure deal I've got up here. I can leave it up here because it's not in my way. It's not going to interfere with anything. So I can actually leave it up there and leave the pressure on it until I get everything done. But it's coming along good. Just thought I'd start the video out and show y'all what I found with that seat riser back there. Got a little gap. I'll just take and you know, hammer this down, put me a bead across there, seal that up, weld it down to here, and it should be good to go. All right, well, I'm gonna get busy doing that, and I'll come back and give y'all another update, let y'all know where I'm at. All right, appreciate it. See y'all in a little while. Okay, Red Randy back. I got the seat riser put in place, welded all the way around. I went ahead and drilled these mounting holes on both sides and put bolts in there to hold everything in place. So it's all looking good, but I think what I'm gonna do next, I still got to weld up my holes where I had the sheet metal screws. But what I'm going to do next, I think, before I put this, start on this rear floor pan part, is jump up here and go ahead and weld all this in. Get it all welded in. It's all in place. It looks good. Just got to make sure I close up all my gaps whenever I weld it. Make sure everything's good and tight. And get all this welded from the firewall back to here. And then when I get done with that, just, I think it's going to be about 29 3/4 is what the measurement's going to be from the seat riser up here. So I'll cut them off, go ahead and put that in and get the tunnel in there, and get that all that done. I'll make these pieces here for the door jamb that'll turn out and come out on this pad here. There's a bolt hole right in here somewhere where there's a mount. I'll make it where it comes down and comes out on this, maybe 3" 2 or 3" square, so I can put a bolt through it and hold this jamb in place. But I still got to do these pieces up here too. I've got to scab onto this and come out, because there's another mounting hole right along here somewhere. I got to make a scab piece that'll come out over the top of this and then drill my bolt hole through it. But for right now, that's the plan. We'll go ahead and get started on it. Start pushing this down and making sure I ain't got no gaps and stuff in it, weld it in. Now I'll get back with y'all in a little while. Okay, wanted to show you all this. Started welding these in, front floor pans, but before I welded this in, I got it fitting good. I took the screws out, and I'm gonna go ahead and cut this firewall out like it needs to be so I can weld it to the flange here. Go ahead and cut it out, get it fitting good. Then I can put it in, weld it in. I won't have to worry about that later. I got easier access now. While I got this cover off, I can go ahead and cut it out, make sure it fits good. I'm gonna trim these panels here where they need to be trimmed to fit up to this too. Won't have to trim much off of them, but I got to trim a little bit. But anyway, I'd like to show you all that, and when we get to welding, and I'll come back, I'll get that done. Okay, y'all. Thought I'd come back and show y'all where I'm at, what I'm running up against. I've got this front floor pan welded in pretty much. Got this fitted around the firewall up here and got it welded in. Got these welded in, the tunnel, and I've got it welded down to here on each side of the tunnel, but I didn't want to go any farther down in case I have to lift this up, you know, to get the floor pans in right. And I hadn't welded the rockers over there yet either, because, you know, I still got to put the rear floor pans up under those, and I wanted to make sure I'd have plenty of room to lift it up, you know, move it around and get those rear floor pans in there. But it looks like the rear floor pans are going to come up to be about, let's see, 29 3/4 maybe on those rear floor pans where I cut them off to fit in here. But the problem, the issue I'm running into now is where I put this rear tunnel in here, and I've got it clamped down good and tight to the tunnel part here and the floor pan, front floor pan, is that I've got a gap in here, pretty good gap all the way around, and this is a small end that goes here, but and that leads me, I mean, I've got a gap under the bottom that's pretty good too. So right now I'm just trying to figure out how I'm gonna deal with that. I could take this tunnel and re-bend it up here, bend it different right here where they've got it bent. I could move up maybe 1/4 inch and bend it again on each side. Hate to do that, but you know, these things are pretty much universal. They fit, I don't know, from 36 on up to 40, and you know, it's not a factory type floor pan. They call it a hot rod or street rod floor pan. So you know, you're going to do stuff like that. You're going to have to manipulate stuff and, you know, shrink it and, you know, make it fit. But that's where I'm at now. I'm going to try to get this tunnel here, get all that straightened out, figure out how I'm going to deal with this back here, because you can see I got a pretty good gap around that. I'm going to have to fill that in somehow, you know, bend this down here, this edge, bend it again, give me a little more material up here to fill up that radius.